Dungeons & Dragons is finally bringing back the Artificer, but is this 2024 version any good?
I don't know, you tell me.
The Artificer is finally making its return in a new Unearthed Arcana playtest released by D&D yesterday. But can the class, which had some serious issues in its previous version, finally stand up to the original 12 classes? Why not take a second to hit those like and subscribe buttons to help us keep these videos coming? And then, let's talk about the return of the Artificer in D&D 2024. D&D just released a new Unearthed Arcana playtest for the Artificer, the only official class from original 5th edition that didn't make that initial jump to D&D 2024. So how are they taking what has been a notoriously hard class to balance, and one that often felt very underpowered or limited compared to the other 12 classes, and making it into something more viable in 2024? Let's start by taking a look at what's changed with their core abilities. Gone is the old Infuse item ability, which let them replicate the effects of certain magic items temporarily, which was limiting in terms of what magic items they could replicate the effect of, which meant there were a ton of cool magic items artificers could never really replicate. Instead, their magical tinkering ability has been changed to Replicate Magic Item, which lets them create magic items of their choice based on rarity, with level 14 artificers, for example, basically able to create any rare armor, ring, wand, weapon, or wondrous item. This gives the artificer access to far more useful magic items and allows them to stay relevant as the game introduces more and more new magical gear down the line. They can also choose to turn one of those magic items they've made into additional spell slots, which makes them a little better when it comes to being a spellcaster than they were before. The subclasses also got rebalanced in the new playtest. The Alchemist subclass now makes potions a little bit faster, has access to more experimental elixirs sooner, and those elixirs are also more powerful, including the new Healing Elixir, which heals for 2d8 plus your intelligence modifier instead of the usual 2d4. They also gain access to the ability to do significant amounts of extra damage with their new Chemical Mastery subclass feature, as well as gaining resistance to acid and poison damage, which, feels pretty appropriate. The Armorer subclass adds a new Dreadnought armor model to the types of magical armor they can create, which gives you a massive iron wrecking ball weapon with reach and the ability to enlarge yourself. They also get access to creating more types of magical armor with their Replicate Magic Item feature, so they get even more variety in the kind of items they can make. And the damage they can inflict from their magical armor has been slightly buffed as well, so these two subclasses do feel a bit better. The Battlesmith, on the other hand, saw very minor changes, with their Steel Defender construct getting slightly buffed in terms of damage output and its hit points, but really no major changes, which is a little bit disappointing given this class's sort of niche in-between supporter-defender role. And finally, the Artillerist mainly saw changes to the Eldritch Cannon feature, allowing its little created cannon buddies to have access to all 3 attack types, Flamethrower, Force Ballista, or Protector, instead of having to just choose one and being locked into it like they were in 5th edition. They also now have a random modifier to spell damage when they cast it using their arcane firearm, with you rolling a d8 and adding that much damage instead of it being a set number based off your casting modifier, which is kind of a fun risk-reward mechanic. All in all, these changes do seem like a step in the right direction, but the Artificer still lives in that weird limbo as a half-caster with limited spell access. They get some attack spells from their subclasses, but their main spell list from levels 1 through 5 features, I believe, a grand total of 2 direct attack spells of everything they can choose from. They get kind of locked into a weird supporter/healer role where they're not an amazing supporter and they're still not really an amazing healer, but they have a bunch of sort of weird flexibility when it comes to magic items that we'll have to test out more and see if this new variety of items they can make helps them stand out on the battlefield a bit more than they used to. We'd love to have seen some bigger swings, especially given how limited the spell access is for the Artificer in terms of their subclass abilities, like giving the Alchemist something more than just the ability to craft potions in half the time, since crafting potions still is kind of a downtime activity. Something that would let them craft a potion on the fly to adapt to their current situation or combat would be really nice, for example, but hey, that's what this playtest is for. So what do you think of the new Artificer? Let us know your thoughts on the new class playtest in the comments, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.